Welcome to Zaxara Sultai Hydras. As far as our opening hand goes, yeah, we got Worldly Tutor. We do have Ponder. If we had like a blue-green source, I would probably keep on this one, but let's go and mulligan on this. That's, is there a snap keep button? Yes, we will keep on this one. What do we put on the bottom? I think at this point, we're playing Narset, we've got to go full throttle. So I think at this point, what we'll probably do, because we need Mana Crypt. Return to Nature's probably going to grab one of their Mana Rocks or something. Nature's Lord. Yeah, I think we need to put Villainous Wealth on the bottom. We can always grab it with Demonic Tutor, but we have such a very good quick burst that we're going to have to do it this way. So, all right, so click OK, then anything else, pass it over to our opponent. But yes, feels good to have an explosive opening hand against Narset. I cannot tell you how many times I've been on the opposite end of Narset just going to town, and that's... it's not a lot of fun. So if you can make a Narset player suffer a little bit, hey, it's all part of the game. So, ooh, and then Summary Dismissal. That's actually a pretty good option for us. Let's go and lead off with, unfortunately, we can't go for Nature's Lore just yet. We could go for Demonic Tutor if we wanted to. But I think at this point what we'll do is we'll just end up going for Opulent Palace. And just in case we're running into some sort of counter spell, I'd hate to whiff on Mana Crypt while they get blue mana down or something, or a force spike. That would not be fun. So anything else, pass it over to our opponent. We're playing Zaxara Sultai Hydras. Death Touch, add 2 mana of any one color. Then, whenever you cast a spell with X in its mana cost, create a 0/0 green Hydra creature token, put X +1 counters on it. Playing against Narset, the Enlightened. First strike hexproof. Whenever Narset attacks, exile the top 4 cards of your library. Until end of turn, you may cast non-creature spells from among those cards without paying their mana cost. So opponent's going to go for a Voltaic Key. See if we want to end up popping this Nature's Lore. We're going to choose Tails on this Mana Crypt trigger. Won the flip. We are 1 for 1 on that. We'll certainly take that. And yeah, I think Nature's Lore. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good bet. Let's go Nature's Lore. And then click on that last colorless. That still allows, we still have the land drop too. We can end up going for Demonic Tutor if we want to. And we might end up grabbing Toxic Deluge. We'll see exactly what we want to grab with Demonic Tutor. But let's go for Nature's Lore. It's going to allow us to get an extra land onto the battlefield. I think at this point, just to keep us online, let's go and grab Triome. Enter the battlefield tapped. Let's go for Command Tower. And do we want a Demonic Tutor? Yeah. Let's go ahead and Demonic Tutor. Yeah, we'll see exactly what we want to grab, but we've got Zaxara next turn, and then we've got Return to Nature, and we do have Summary Dismissal to fog out a combat attack from Narset. So let's see exactly what we end up grabbing with Demonic Tutor. Man, I think Zaxara, Zaxara into Hydrocrasis is... that's some pretty good value right there. So let's do that. Let's grab Hydrocrasis. I love Hydrocrasis. Such a good card. And then anything else, we'll pass the turn over to our opponent. So we did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/Jolt MTG, that will apply my affiliate link that'll allow you to get some cards and help support the channel at the same time. In fact, if you enjoy my content, that's going to be Banishing Light. Yeah, that's fine. That's fair enough. We still have Return to Nature, though. I think we might end up doing that because we want to keep all of the mana on our side of the battlefield. So the only downside is that does cut us off Zaxara. So we might just end up going Zaxara and then go for Return to Nature at a later point. Ooh, they're ripping the Vampiric Tutor. Oh yeah. All right, so let's go Zaxara. Let's see if our opponent's got spot removal. This will be a good way for us to kind of just test the waters, get Zaxara down, and then anything else, pass it back over there. But yeah, use that TCG link. I'd appreciate it if you do. It costs you nothing, and it allows you to support the channel at the same time. So if you do that, much obliged. Also, let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders. If you want to play online, they have a wonderful selection of digital cards, handcrafted, not really handcrafted, but hand selected into all of their little magic bots. So if you'd like to get some cards, check them out. Also, let's give a quick shout out to inkgaming.com. If you go to inkgaming.com/Jolt, that will apply a 10% discount coupon. And you also get to check out some of my cool play mats. All right, so we're going to get hit with a Johnny. That's going to be old Zaxara. Back to the command zone. Yes, indeed. We'll see what we can assemble after this. At least Return to Nature on Banishing Light. That does sound like a pretty good bet. Now, we do have Vampiric Tutor during our upkeep. And to be perfectly honest, I don't want to fight the entire game against a Johnny. That is not going to be fun. So let's go for Demonic Tutor. excuse me, Vampiric Tutor. We're going to grab ourselves a Hero's Downfall. That way we can get rid of a Johnny, because that is just not, a Johnny's not fun to play against. I do not enjoy that. So where is Hero's Downfall? There we go. I always get worried if I can't find it right away. I get worried that it's not in there. Like, I know it's in there somewhere. Let's go black, and then tap down Underground River. But yeah, last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to directly support cool content like this, there's a link down in the description below. But if you're keeping score at home, it is officially free time. And yes, Kiki, that is my production assistant, Dorothy, letting me know that she didn't have enough time to mark free time on her scorecard, so I'm going to give her a little bit extra time. Okay, so she's in my lap now. There we go. All right, so we're playing Zaxara. What are we doing with Zaxara? Zaxara is, and I think that's how you say it. If I'm wrong, I do apologize. And if I ever like on Proforos, I kept saying Proforos, but basically I haven't been diagnosed with it, but I know like I have some form of dyslexia. Like it's like words, and if you've watched my videos for any amount of time, you know my struggle with the English language. So sometimes, like yeah, especially with Hammer of Proforos out there, letters get jumbled up in my head. So it's kind of not necessarily hard to pronounce them. It's just kind of like they come in and come out in a weird way, and I don't have any disabilities from it. It's other than just it's a struggle with the English language sometimes. Let's go return to nature. Narset's not going to have haste yet. They don't have any way to get ahead on mana, so we definitely want this back. So let's go and destroy target enchantment. That's going to be banishing light. That's going to give us back our mana crypt, and that's still going to keep us online for summary dismissal if we want to. Actually, no, we can. No, not yet, because that's going to be 6. So let's have that come into play tapped. Not going to pay 2, and then we'll pass it back over there. So with summary dismissal, this is going to keep us online for, you know, if something's on the stack, we can exile it. If they're trying to go for Narset at a later point, we can exile also that Narset trigger. So now if they do completely tap out for something right now, Aura of Silence. Yeah, we need this extra mana. So let's go double blue. If they have counter magic, they have it. So let's go summary dismissal. Let's go and exile that Aura of Silence. And at the very least, you know, simply just untapping with the option to go for a really nice Hydroid Crisis. That sounds like a pretty good bet for us. And that's going to be Mind Stone. Okay, it's not the end of the world. Okay, so we've got the Mana Crypt trigger. Let's go and choose Tails on this one. I think we're still 1 for 1 on these. All right, lost the flip. We were 1 for 2 on these Mana Crypt triggers, and that's going to be Toxic Deluge, which is probably one of the best top decks that you can go for. Now, they have 0 cards in hand, so we could go for Hydroid Crisis. That would be a little bit extra life gain and a card draw, but I really like the option of still trying to go for this Hydroid Crisis line of play. So let's do this. It's going to be 1-2, tapping down on Mana Crypt, and tap down for a Dimir. There we go. Tap down for blue, and then have old Zaxara come down, and then anything else pass the turn over to our opponent. So one of the good things about playing Zaxara is, you know, little value plays like this. It's just such a soul-tie thing to do. Cast Hydroid Crisis. We're going to get that life gain. We're going to draw cards, and then we're going to have that Spellslinger effect from Zaxara generate this Hydroid token, this Hydra token on the battlefield. So. And that's going to be Narset. And one of the cool things about Narset being a 3-2 is this Toxic Deluge is going to clean it up very, very nicely. So they still get the Narset trigger, and that's going to be first strike. So we're actually going to let this go through and keep our fingers crossed. Okay, yeah, we can definitely. That's going to be Izzet Signet and Wheel of Fortune, so we can definitely survive on that. Yeah, we don't want to trade with Zaxara because we got Toxic Deluge coming down next turn. That's going to get the commander tax going up, and if they do end up going for Wheel of Fortune, it's probably actually going to end up helping us out a lot better. And so it'll be nice for us to untap with a ton of mana where they're sitting with 7 cards in the hand, and we have, well, we're going to miss out on Toxic Deluge, but still gives us some bets. All right, so that's going to be Heroic Intervention, Lightning Greaves. We still do have Brainstorm, so probably not the best flip off of that Wheel of Fortune, but we can get some stuff moving on our side. All right, so let's go. Tails on this Mana Crypt trigger. All right, 1 the flip on that, 2 for 3 on those, and we draw into Islands. So at this point, the only movement we really have in our hand is going for Brainstorm. So we're going to go and try to cash that in right now. Let's look at the top 3 cards, or draw the top 3 cards of our library. We do have to put 2 back, and yeah, I mean that's a lot of mana. It's always nice, and we do get a fetch land, so could be worse. Let's go ahead and put Forest back on top of our library, and we'll go ahead and put Island back on top. So let's go for Thrain Dynamo. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. That's going to tap down for 3, and that still gives us the option to go Arcane Signet. It's going to be 1, 2. Let's go for Lightning Greaves. Let's go Lightning Greaves onto Zaxara, and then we're going to go ahead and play Misty. That way we do have the option to kind of shuffle our library back up. So anything else, I think we're simply just going to go and pass the turn. Now, one of the lines of play that we do have is we do have Death Touch. She does have First Strike, Narset, but what we can do is try to end up jamming a Heroic Intervention. That way, if we do declare blockers, that'll allow us to at least kind of keep Narset off the battlefield. So, or if they do end up having some sort of board wipe or destroy blank, 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 we still have Heroic Intervention as a backup. So we'll still end up fighting during our main phase. That way, if they have any sort of response to that. But that's going to be Zaxara. And that's going to be Jace, Ajani, and Gilded Lotus. Okay, so we can definitely survive that. Let's go for block on Zaxara. Yeah. And either way, we're okay with Lightning. So let's do this. Let's block on Narset. Let's go Heroic Intervention. And we'll see if they have counter magic. If they do, so be it. But at least we're going to be able to get rid of Narset. And out of the 5 cards left in their hand, hopefully they either spend their turn going for Narset, and that gives us another option to kind of generate something on our side. So that's going to get rid of Narset. She's going to go back to the command zone. They're still going to be in a very good position, especially with Jace and Ajani coming down, and with Gilded Lotus, so they're going to be able to generate a ton of value. So actually, in response to Ajani, let's just go ahead and crack Misty. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves a blue source. And I think what we'll end up grabbing is Underground Sea. That'll be pretty good. So we'll grab Underground Sea, and we'll let them get a Johnny down. And maybe they're worried about a Force Spike or something like that. We'll see what else they assemble for the turn, and then we'll see what we can do. But yeah, unfortunately, that Wheel of Fortune was very... I mean, we have some options. We got to shuffle. We had Brainstorm. We got to shuffle our library. We'll also have Nurturing Peatland to draw an extra card. So we'll see what we can get for next turn. The only downside is with Zaxara is not necessarily a super explosive deck. We don't really have a... You know, like I just got done recording Yidris, and I don't know when I'm going to release the videos, but that is a very explosive deck. And so you can generate a lot of stuff in one turn. But with Zaxara, it's kind of more the Sultai approach where you're just going for a ton of value. So unfortunately, we missed out on that Hydroid Krasis line of play, which would have been a ton of fun. But let's see what else I got down. That is a motley crew of super friends over there. We have Jace, Ajani, Saheeli, and Elspeth Knight Errant. So, and that's going to be the... Whoa. That's going to be the Chain Veil with enough mana? I think it's only 3. That's going to be... Ooh, that is... Boy, that is... It's like we kicked over a Planeswalker ant pile. That is pretty rough right there. So, opponent's going to go for the Fate Seal with Jason Mind Sculptor. Look at the top part of our library. Let's see if they end up they put it back on top, so it's probably not something that good. But at least we do have the card draw of Nurturing. But unfortunately, we do not have mass Planeswalker removal in here. So if we pass the turn and untap... They got a hasty Narset. We may have to scoop it up because really the only thing that we're looking at this point is going to be rifting our way out of this. So we'll see what we can go for. But yeah, if that's Jeskai Ascendancy on top, that is... Yeah, that's going to be pretty rough. And especially with the Chain Veil activation, yeah, we'll probably end up having to scoop next turn. As much as I love seeing Super Friends, I highly... don't enjoy Narset, so we'll see what we rip into. Let's go for this Tails. Tails on this Mana Crypt. Lost the flip. I think we're 1 for 3 on those. And that is going to be Damnation on a board with very few creatures. So let's go for Nurturing Peatland. Let's go and crack Peatland. Sacrifice it, draw a card. That's going to be Damnation. Or we have Damnation in here. We're going to draw a card. Let's see what we do draw into. Oh, and excuse me, a Narset extra out there. Yeah, well, I'm going to scoop it up on that one. We've got a lot of Planeswalkers going down next turn. They're not necessarily going to close the game out, but with the Chain Veil activation, the value that our opponent has assembled on their side of the battlefield is just going to be way too hard for us to fight through, especially Zaxara. Because really the best case scenario that we're looking for is going to be like a card draw source that we're tapping out for that's going to give us a Hydra on the battlefield, and that's simply not going to get it done with this amount of... power on the battlefield, especially the Chain Veil. So I always like to see people play things out, but when it is the there's no hope of us winning because I know exactly what's in this deck. There's no way that we can. There's basically the outs for us to win is non-existent. So we'll save our opponent some time, and that's a little bit of time with these Chainveil activations. So unfortunately, not the best Zaxara showing. We almost tried to live the dream with Hydroid Krasis, but if you're a Narset fan, it's a pretty good build of Narset Super Friends over there. So anyways, if you enjoyed the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.